Hey, what's up guys? Welcome to another video in Coding with Thiago. Thanks for watching this video, and today's video we are going to start a new series here in the channel talking about design patterns. And to start this new series, we are going to talk about the design pattern Singleton, which is the most simple design pattern to implement. Okay, so just to contextualize what it's a singleton design. So basically the singleton, it infers that our code better our class shouldn't and can't have another instance, right? So for example, if I create a class as a singleton, I will not be able to have two instances for that class running in the same application, right? So if I create an HTTP class, HTTP client singleton to perform my HTTP requests in my front end, anytime I call the HTTP client.get.post, I will be calling the same class, the same instance, right? Because I'm not creating a different instance. I'm always getting the same instance and working on it. Because again, the design pattern singleton doesn't allow the class to has more than one instance running the application, right? Let's write some code, and I guess it will be a little bit clearer for everyone, right? So just to be clear here, I just created a new project, and as you guys can see, I just added types node, TS node, and TypeScript just to be able to run with types properly, right? So let me see. I will be creating here. It's singleton.ts, right? So first of all, if I create here class HTTP client, which is the example that we are going to work here right now, right? HTTP client, the same as I mentioned it before. So if I create here HTTP client and come here const HTTP1 equals new HTTP client and perform a console.log. I already have this here. It will be showing me here that it's an HTTP client instance, right? Perfect. But if I do the same again, const HTTP2 and perform HTTP2 a console log. As you guys can see, two instances, perfect. Nothing wrong here. But if I do this console.log HTTP1 equals HTTP2, in a singleton word, we should receive true here, right? But in this case, we will receive a false because, as I said before, and I just showed you guys here, we are creating two different instances, right? We are not creating the same instance. So right now, creating two different instances, both instances, they are referring to different memory addresses, right? So we don't have them using the same address. So basically, they are totally different. They are two instances, right? So if we create here, if I run here singleton.ts, we will receive the false as a result, right? As the output. So what should we do for transforming this into a singleton? First of all, we should comment everything, and sorry, I will uncomment this because I want to show you guys something. So I will be creating here a private constructor, right? Because right now it's throwing an error here saying that HTTP client is private and only accessible within the class declaration, right? This means that we can only instantiate the class inside the class. We cannot instantiate the class here, for example, new HTTP client, as you guys are seeing below. But if I come here, test, create an internal method here and call new HTTP client, I will be able to do this because I am creating the instance inside the class. So this is why we have this private constructor here, because we only can instantiate the class inside the own class, right? So right now, what should we do? We are creating the private constructor. So we are saying that, hey, you cannot instantiate the class outside this scope. then we have to comment here because we can't do this, right? Another thing that I will do here right now is create a private static, and I need to fix here private static instance, which will receive sorry, it will receive nothing. The type is HTTP client, so the type is the same as the class. So we are going to have the class inside the class, right? This is how the singleton manages inside the application, inside the class. So, okay, we have this, and how should we manage this right now? The common way of doing this is creating a method to instantiate the class and then returning it, right? For example, we can come here, get instance, and say that this will be returning an HTTP client, right? So we have the get instance method, and it will return an HTTP client. So if we come here right now and say const HTTP1 equals to HTTP client dot get, and it's not, oh, of course, it should be static. Get instance. So right now we have access to the instance. Of course, we don't have the instance right now. I'm just showing you guys how can we retrieve the instance that we are going to create, right? If you guys inspect here, you can say you can see that we have the HTTP client type being attached to the HTTP1 variable. Perfect. Coming here and saying, hey, if we don't have an HTTP client dot instance, so what we need to do is HTTP client dot instance will receive new HTTP client and then return the HTTP client dot instance. So what we are doing here, we are basically saying, hey, we don't have an instance. Okay, so attach a new instance to the HTTP client instance, right? So doing this, we are instantiating the singleton and attaching it to the class, and then we are returning it. Perfect. So if we come here and do the same again, console.log on the HTTP1, you guys can see that we have the instance. Okay, if we do the same thing, HTTP2 get instance, come here, HTTP2, we will have two instances, right? Perfect. But if we do this, the results, the output should be different, right? Because the last run, it returned false because they were two different instances. But in this run, it should return true because the way that we are doing here, creating the instance and assigning the value, it should be the same instance, right? So as you guys can see, let me run here. Perfect, it is true. So we are handling it perfectly. We have a singleton, right? Okay, but how could we add code here and improve the HTTP class? Because we just have the instance, what should we do right now here? So basically, what can we do? We can have, for example, a get method to perform HTTP requests, right? Get method, it should be async because we are going to perform HTTP requests. We will be receiving a URL, which is a string. And if you guys notice below here, I can call HTTP1.get, and now I can perform everything that I need here, right? So let me try an implementation here. So let me just try return. I would just return the URL, right? Error, and throw the error. I will pass here some URL .then data. I can just console.log and catch, right? So just by doing this, we will have the code working. Some URL, perfect. So basically, this is how we can implement a singleton class, right? But if you guys, of course, need, you can create here, I don't know, a sync post, a sync putch, and you guys will be managing your own HTTP client, right? Another thing. So for example, if I want to add here more things, is the same thing as doing a common class. So for example, options, right? Because I can have options here saying, hey, I have this URL, but I want to have headers, and I don't know, I want to pass alf, which is oauth, just an example here, right? I can create, of course, I can create here type HTTP options equals to, I don't know, let me see, headers, which is optional, which will be a record string to string, right? So I can come here and say HTTP options. Right now I can pass here, and it's not header, it's headers, and perfect. I have everything working as it should be. If I remove this, no problem. It's already saying, hey, you can pass HTTP options. If I open the brackets here, it will say headers. So basically, after this implementation here for the get instance, the code is pretty much the same, right? Awesome. So guys, that's it. I hope you guys have enjoyed this video. I hope this video is useful for you guys, which are learning the design patterns, right? So I see you guys in the next video where we are going to cover the factory method, right? So thank you guys and see you.